When choosing a dentist for our family, Tupelo Smiles was the answer for us. They greet us with warm smiles right when we walk in the door, and they make us feel so welcome. We love Tupelo Smiles.
Out with the old and in with the new. It's time to save big at Room to Room's New Year's sale. Store-wide markdowns 50 to 70% off, no tax, 48-month special financing. It's a new year at Room to Room Furniture in Tupelo. There's no place like home.
Mississippi's trusted weather experts. This is Mississippi Live Weather at 5.
Not for us, at least.
Well, thank you for joining us for Mississippi Live Weather at 5 p.m. I'm Chief Meteorologist Matt Lopon, and we are live at our Mississippi Live Game of the Week here in North Pontotoc. It's going to be North Pontotoc taking on Tishomingo County, and for the very first time, I'm pretty sure in North Mississippi broadcast history, we are doing the girls for our Game of the Week. Not just our Game of the Week, for really any Game of the Week, and we're so excited for the incredible matchup we have out there this evening. We do have a full forecast for you coming up here in just a second. But before we get going too far, I do want to bring in the other member of our broadcast crew this evening. That's going to be our Ethan Foster. And Ethan, this is going to be a big, big game. You know, we'll talk a lot more about it coming up here in a minute. Again, so happy to have you helping us here with Mississippi Live Sports. But, I mean, this one, pretty good matchup, and it certainly has some folks in it that are going to go well beyond this level.
Absolutely, and we're going to kind of introduce you to that here going throughout the game. Of course, we've got some very interesting game notes tonight, maybe even reviving the spirit of Lee Corso this week with a game pick later on with some help for some Tisch County fans maybe. But yeah,
you
never know. You know, they're both here in the house tonight, hoping for a big win. Got some star standout players on the court. One in particular that I'm very excited to talk about here in just a little bit. One of the best basketball players in the entire state, according to a lot of people. So very excited to tee that up with you, Matt. And I think we got a good one brewing up here in North Pontotoc tonight.
Okay, our Ethan Foster, we'll talk more to him here in a minute. But again, this evening, if you're out and about, it is obviously kind of a cool evening. Has been a fairly cool day. As we look at our headlines for tonight, light showers are likely to continue into this evening. We do expect that most of them remain just that light, not amounting to a whole lot in the way of precipitation out there. Extremely cold weather is coming back over the course of this weekend and really into next week. We're timing out just how cold, how long here in a few minutes. Our meteorologist Gabe Maynard joining us to a certain extent with that. And again, we're live here at our Game of the Week in Ecru at North Pontotoc High School. The ladies taking their first shot coming up at 6 p.m. If you can see the boys going on behind us at this point here. 53 that temperature as of 6 p.m., 46 by 9, 40 degrees as we look toward midnight. And then again, keeping conditions eventually drier then, but still some showers out there for the next couple of hours. That temperature right now, 58 degrees though. Again, that wind out of the west going to shift more northwest behind this front and bring in that cooler and drier air that again is the thing that probably eats into what a lot of folks have wanted to talk about this week in snowfall, which is just unfortunately, or fortunately, depending on which team you're on there, not really in the forecast there. Hey, 58 in the Tupelo area, coming in 61 down in the Columbus area, back 66, our warm spot Kosciuszko, but only 49 back out closer to Memphis up there in South Haven. The wind chill, more noticeable there. And no official wind chill for a lot of other spots, but that breezy wind will pick up and make sure that that becomes more of an issue as we head through the evening and into the night. Mississippi Live Doppler radar, this course brought to you by Mama Justice. Mostly dry at this point. Again, not a lot of meaningful rainfall out there. Just kind of showing up with, again, moderate rainfall at most for our area. And even then, that's probably overstating it. Back up in the north and west, a little bit of snowfall, but you got to go back all the way onto the plains before you see any of that. As we bring things in a little closer, I'll change things over again to the sweeping radar here, what we sometimes call our level 2 radar. I'll see if I can pop that on there on precipitation mode. Okay, yeah, there we go. We got that on there. Again, just not a lot of that really making it down there to the ground. Though, again, light nature, this might add up to, at most, a couple hundredths of an inch of rainfall, just not a lot of meaningful moisture from that. So that front will continue tracking through the areas we progress into the evening and into tonight, moving kind of from northwest to southeast. Those showers, again, they do get fairly widespread. And you saw for just a moment there, closer to the Golden Triangle area, we did have a little bit of orange and red sort of colors showing up. It's not inconceivable to have a couple rumbles with this but that's probably more the exception to the rule than the rule tonight. And the rainfall amounts, again, not expected to be particularly heavy with this. As that moves out, drier air moves in behind that, and that should clear us out fairly well overnight. A couple sprinkles up to the north, but the much wider shot here across the region. If you're still thinking, hey, what about the wintry stuff? And I get that some folks are. All that moisture is well to the south of us and likely to stay down that way because, again, what this front has done, what it does, is behind it you have that drier air moving in from the north and west. And that really is something that's a limiting factor. And while we're cooler tomorrow behind this, it's not an extreme drop in temperature as a result. So looking over the next 24 hours, as you can see, yeah, we're 31 at 6 a.m., 45 by noontime, but 46 at 3 p.m. tomorrow. That is not a warm day. You take in that north wind at 10 miles per hour, it's still probably going to feel like it's around 40 in the afternoon. But 32 is the freezing point. We're starting off at 31. So any precipitation that falls into warm air. Warm air makes it less fun. It just makes it wet, not something else. Okay, coming up here in 60 seconds, we're going to look in more detail at your forecast from our meteorologist, Gabe Maynard. We're also going to talk specifically about our game of the week here between the folks at, of course, North Pontotoc, the ladies, taking on Tishomingo County. And there's just some incredible star power in this game. One of the best teams in the entire state playing, and a home team that's hoping that they can play the spoiler. That coming up after this in 60 seconds as Mississippi Live continues here from our mobile room-to-room weather center right after this.
When you've been injured, don't settle for a lawyer who doesn't even know where you live. Call Langston and Lott. Local lawyers, personal service, real results.
Frozen pipes can cause serious damage. That's why Absolute Restoration is giving away free faucet covers to our community while supplies last. Installing them is easy. Just slide the foam sleeve over your outdoor faucet and secure it snugly. Also remember to disconnect hoses, open cabinet doors under sinks, and let faucets drip during extreme cold. Call or text to check availability, and from our family to yours, please stay warm and protected.
Right now, from the Room to Room Weather Center, here's Mississippi's Chief Meteorologist, Matt Lovhawn.
I'm not really very good at this whole sports thing, but that's the reason we're going to bring in a professional here in a second. We're at our Mississippi Live Game of the Week here in North Pontotoc High School. The game going on live behind me. Again, the boys playing right now. Score is 6-5 at this instant. But expecting, again, big scoring coming up in the ladies' game, which is our game of the week here in just a couple of minutes. The fans certainly starting to fill out here in the stands here, getting excited for the games. Very much concentrating on what's going on right now. And I bring in our Ethan Foster. And Ethan, you know, this is obviously a huge matchup tonight with some real star power.
Absolutely. Star power is the name of the game tonight. And the reason I say that is because I mentioned earlier to all the people at home, we have one of the best basketball players here in the state playing in this game tonight. Her name is Meg Moore. She's averaging 22 points a game. And not to mention, she's not only averaging 22 points a game, she's got the fourth best points per game average in the entire state, according to Max Preps. And she's also only a sophomore, but she's also drawing a lot of attention from the D1 level. She's being recruited by the likes of Ole Miss, Auburn. She's got an offer from Clemson. Not only that, but just a few weeks ago, she also took a unofficial visit to Vanderbilt.
That's
if you've
big.
been following along with D1 college basketball, you know that the women's team at Vanderbilt right now is currently have a historic program season right now. They're 18-0 for the first time ever. They're at the top of the SEC. So being looked at as a sophomore by one of the best teams in the SEC right now is a pretty big deal. And we're here down in North Mississippi talking about some D1 colleges, looking at some of our talent. So,
But
we've got
more than just a player,
Yeah,
right?
absolutely.
It's an entire team that's doing excellent this year.
Absolutely, and that was the next point, Matt, is that this Tisch County team currently the best 4A team in the state, and overall the fourth best team in the state according to Max Prep. So they are doing very, very well. They've only lost 2 games up to this point in the season. Their last loss was all the way back in November, okay, and it was to a team in Tennessee. And then before that, they've only lost 1 other game, and that was to Starkville. They only lost those games by a combined 11 points total. Okay, so you're talking about 11 points that separates them from 2 losses and an undefeated season right now. So clearly, we know that they're the powerhouse in this game, but we're also here at home.
Exactly. And North Pontotoc, hoping to play spoiler and, has some athletes of their own.
Yes, absolutely. North Pontotoc right now currently 1-4 in district play, 10-9 overall. Compared to our 4th best team in the state, North Pontotoc is the 138th best team in the state. So this is David and Goliath right now, if you want to call it that.
Sometimes helps out. And I do think we have a home fan here. I want to get her opinion. Who do you think's going to win tonight? Y'all think y'all are going to win? You're going to do a good job? You excited? Awesome. That's right. To win the cuteness factor here at North Pontotoc so far here. But, I think when we're looking at this, we're trying to figure out who's going to win on the hardwood tonight. Who's your pick?
Well, Matt, it's a home team game, right? The home environment is big. The home team fans are big. And you want that support behind you for the game no matter what. Some people might think that you would want to go with the home team in this situation to play spoiler. But I'm not going to do that tonight. Tonight, I'm going to pick Tisch County, of course. We've got a branded hard hat for this game tonight. We're going to put it on right here.
It's the Lee Corso thing. Of course, you got
that. Exactly. If it covers my face, we're going Tisch County tonight. I'm expecting them to win big, and the reason I'm saying that is because everything we've already talked about. Meg Moore is going to continue having her game, and also these teams played about a month ago, and it was not pretty, okay? Tisch County won by about 45 to 50 points in the last game.
Wow.
North Pontotoc didn't manage to score 30 in that game. So North Pontotoc, I'm glad to be here tonight. I hope and wish you all the best. It's going to be an absolute slugfest. You can still play spoiler. It's going to take a lot to take down Tisch County tonight.
Okay, and Ethan, we'll have highlights coming up of this game tonight at 10 p.m. We're also going to have some in-game looks coming up during our 6 o'clock broadcast. But I do want to send it back here to the studio. Our meteorologist, Gabe Maynard, of course, has been monitoring the forecast. Again, snow from time to time this week has been the story. Hard hat wouldn't help you out much from that. You need to cover your ears a little bit. Hey, Gabe, what is it looking like here as of, the 5 o'clock hour heading into this weekend forecast?
Well, Matt, it of course is going to be a rainy forecast heading into tonight for some parts of North Mississippi, and that's the big exception to the beautiful conditions that we've been experiencing all day long. But again, it's going to be a fun time out there in Tishomingo County. I do hope that everyone is ready for that matchup. Again, our Ethan Foster is going to be having the latest on that. And of course, he's got his hard hat on, so if anything does come flying his way into the stands, he'll be prepared and safe. But talking about being safe with this forecast, have those umbrellas heading out the door due to those showers that are in North Mississippi right now. 30% chance by that first tip, and still seeing 30, maybe even 20% by that final buzzer. So light in nature, not going to be too impactful, but a couple hundreds can't be ruled out. Our Mama Justice Doppler radar not tracking anything too significant, just going to be those greens that are showing up all the way from Oxford to Boonville to Corinth, even down southwest up around Clarksdale and Shelby. Now these showers a little bit more pronounced out of our Memphis radar site, but you can see that gradual line working its way through North Mississippi, and some of those totals on that Memphis radar site, we're getting about a couple hundredths of an inch, so this is not overly significant. A little bit more significant up there towards northeast Arkansas, and even that's amounting to about a tenth of an inch. And that's on the good side of those rain amounts as this works its way through North Mississippi. But again, not going to be overly impactful, and we don't really expect any stormy weather with this either. As we keep those rainfall totals working their way through North Mississippi, of course, we'll gradually see those showers build a bit more on the southeast side of our viewing area, 7 p.m., showing a little bit more of those yellows, oranges, and reds all the way down there around Kosciuszko. Now that's where we're not ruling out the potential of a rumble of thunder, but usually with this cold of a pattern, we just expect a cold rain and a cold stratiform rain, meaning it's just going to be rain, nothing else really attached to it. But some heavy spots at times not going to be ruled out, and you can see some of those reds building by Columbus, Macon, and Louisville closer to about 9 or 10 o'clock tonight. that's where I would say we may get a rumble of thunder. But again, not going to see overwhelming amounts of rainfall. At most, we're getting 1/10 of an inch or maybe slightly above that margin. And that's, again, on the higher end of the spectrum. Overnight, by midnight, still seeing the last of those light showers move out of North Mississippi. And on the backside, drier air pushing in. Now, this is by 2 a.m. on Saturday, so we're not dealing with any of the moisture beyond that point. And as we keep that forecast moving, you can see that we do still have a few of those showers trying to stick around. But with that northwest wind, we expect drier air to be in place, and that just prevents any of that moisture to result in anything. So if we do get those showers, we'll be light, but also going to be more elevated. A lot of folks have posted today, even with the North Mississippi Storm Chasers, and we've gotten a few folks submitting pictures here to Mississippi Live Weather. Work to get those up at 6 o'clock tonight, but we had a thing called Virga, meaning a lot of those showers were elevated. They had rainfall, but by the time they reached the ground, it was just too dry of an atmosphere for those showers to reach all the way to the surface. And so all these showers that are happening right now, all of that green up in northwest Mississippi, it's battling a significant uphill battle in order for it to reach all the way to the surface, but it is building back that moisture more and more. And so the more rainfall that we see, the better our chances get at some more significant rainfall by the end of our Friday night and into our Saturday morning. There you're getting a look at some of those totals amounting to, yes, 1/10 of an inch. Not impossible, but we really expect a few hundredths of an inch as that line works its way through North Mississippi. Standing over here, as you can see on the east side of our viewing area, amounting to, I think that's a bit ambitious, 1/4 of an inch in Amory. I think we say just below that, still about 1/10 to potentially 2/10 of an inch as this line works its way on through, but that's really it. More significant totals out east as it works its way into Alabama and Georgia, but that's not going to be our forecast here in North Mississippi. A soggy night for some tonight, but heading into our weekend, it's shaping up to be a pretty good one. And for any of those winter weather fans, yeah, disappointing news for you guys, and we'll track that here in just a moment. Low temperatures on your Saturday morning, still going to be cold, but this will be one of the few times that we're sitting below freezing on our Saturday. So if we did have any moisture in the forecast, it's not going to be producing rain. It'll melt by the time it reaches, it's not going to be producing snow. It'll melt by the time it reaches the surface. On our Saturday, 30 degrees Tupelo, same thing Houston, Eupora, 32 Kosciuszko, and 33 Greenwood, Belzona, and Cleveland. Tonight over there in Pontotoc, still seeing around 30 degrees as well. So if you're heading home from that game, we're still going to be in for some cool conditions, but hopefully a drier forecast beyond these showers. Now Saturday morning, you can see that it's still those dry conditions overhead. Some partly cloudy skies do try to build into the area by the afternoon, but even then, they're not going to have any rainfall attached to it. If we zoom things out, we can get a better visual on this because, again, quiet in North Mississippi, but all of that action down south, that's what we've been paying attention to as we've gotten into our Saturday forecast. Of course, as we get into that lunchtime hour, some of that moisture building down around Hattiesburg, Gulfport, and Jackson and Meridian, but that's really as far north as we're expecting it to reach. We do have a weaker cold front that's trying to push south and east, and that could potentially result in a shower here in North Mississippi, but with temperatures sitting where they'll be, we expect it to remain showers, not snow showers. So no winter weather expected with this system. Had a lot of folks ask me, Gabe, is it going to snow on Saturday? No. Set that base right now, at least not here in North Mississippi. As we gradually work our way into those afternoon hours, still getting a few of those light showers, but with that dry forecast expected, again, an uphill battle for any of our rain chances on our Saturday. Let's zoom things out again one more time because we'll see that cold front continue to shift off there towards our south and east, and that cold front going to be the big driver with moisture, and the secondary front that's moving into the area, taking that moisture and moving it southeast once again. So this area from Atlanta to Montgomery all the way south to New Orleans, that's where I would say is your best chance of having moisture. But then we need the temperatures to be cold enough. And even by 4 o'clock on our Saturday, still going to be well above freezing. So this is all rainfall from New Orleans to Montgomery to Atlanta. As that moisture continues to work its way south and east, we continue to see those temperatures drop on the back end of our Saturday. And by the time we get into about 6 p.m. Saturday, still getting a few of those snow showers up there towards Tennessee, Kentucky, and the Carolinas. Now, these are higher elevations, and we'll look at that coming up tonight at 6. But the higher elevated area is going to have the highest likelihood of snow. Makes sense, right? But down south, not an impossibility to get a few flakes, and we'll look at that here in just a moment. Let's first look at high temperatures, bringing it back in here to North Mississippi, and this is what I was talking about. If any precipitation does form, it's going to fall as rain. It's just too warm. 41 degrees South Haven, 45 New Albany, and 44 in Booneville. That's the coldest areas here in North Mississippi, and only getting warmer further south. 49 Golden Triangle, 47 Greenwood, Grenada, and 46 there towards Greenville. Now let's keep Futurecast moving, and you see that trough, that secondary cold front working its way south and east and carrying off all of this moisture with it. Now, I'm going to keep it on this view. You can see North Mississippi, but the reason I'm expanding it out is because nothing is going to be happening. It's actually a very dry and sunny forecast for Sunday. So that's what you need to know in regards to North Mississippi's forecast. Let's watch as this moisture continues to move south and east. And we're starting to get those temperatures to drop more and more. This is 10 p.m. on our Saturday. And as you can see, by the time we get more into Georgia, southern Georgia, even up the Atlantic coast, there you're getting some of those blues showing up. Now, this is going to be Sunday morning, 6 a.m. Look at all that snow that's already starting to form down there towards Montgomery, Mobile, and Dothan. Now, this could have the potential of accumulating, a dusting expected, maybe up to an inch in some spots if this continues to verify. But why we're expecting it there? That's where the moisture is. That's also where it's cold enough to form. So North Mississippi, no snow. We're still, let's track how many miles away on our strike model. Apologies there. Let's find the ruler. Let's take Pickens County. About 87 miles. So we would need this to move 87 miles north before we were concerned about even getting a flake. So that shows you that we're confident in the dry forecast heading into our Sunday morning. And no, if you're wanting any winter weather, not going to be happening for your MLK weekend. So we keep it dry, we keep it sunny, and of course keep it cold as we get into those overnight hours. Behind each of those fronts, we're getting colder air pushing into the area. So by Sunday morning, we're talking about extreme cold temperatures. Pipe dripping cold temperatures. That's how cold we're going to be. 19 Bruce, Water Valley, Oxford, Senatobia, Holly Springs. 19 Prentice, Alcorn, and Tishomingo County. 21 there in Tupelo, Amory, and then 22 Golden Triangle. So everywhere going to be experiencing extreme cold. Could be worse. 1930 was 3 degrees, so we're far from that record, but nonetheless, it's still going to be well below our 30-year average. All right, let's take Futurecast through your Sunday, because I know a few folks have been asking, where's that snow going to go and how long does it stick around? Well, of course, the sunny forecast continues to be in place for North Mississippi, but all of that snow and all of that rainfall starts to move east with that front. And by the time we get into those lunchtime hours, you can see that it's all up the Atlantic coast, far away from us here in North Mississippi. And by then, should be warm enough to where those temperatures are above freezing. And so anything that's falling from the sky, even if it's a flake up top, going to be rain once it reaches the surface. By the afternoon hour, still enjoying the dry forecast here in North Mississippi. And unfortunately, or fortunately, like Matt was saying, no winter weather for us here in the Magnolia State. So let's keep that moving with our Sunday evening and going to remain with those dry conditions. But as we get into that extended forecast, those winds shift from northwest to southwest, and that builds back some of that moisture where you could see a passing cloud or two as we get into the work week. But again, this is not going to be a rainy forecast. The highest rain chances we have over the next 5 days is right now. Once this threat clears out, we're in a very dry pattern dominated by high pressure and continue to experience that as we get into those late night hours of our Sunday and into Monday. We do have a front moving in though, and this front is going to drop us into some dangerous cold heading into Monday morning, Tuesday morning, even by Wednesday morning as those temperatures continue to be the big story. High temperatures Sunday, yes, they're not going to drop or rise too much, only getting to about the mid to upper 30s right along the Tennessee state line and working our way south. We're seeing 40 in Houston, 41 Starkville, 42 Columbus. Same thing around Greenwood, Belzona, and 43 down around Greenville. Now, rain chances, like I mentioned, a very dry pattern all the way through Tuesday, but then we get some moisture moving back into the forecast Wednesday and Thursday. Now, as of right now, we're expecting this to be primarily rainfall, but timing of day, of course, matters. So we're keeping that circled with temperatures being as cold as they are. With there being chances of rainfall, of course, we'll always have it circled this time of year whenever it comes to that extended pattern, but it is still several days out and things will change before we approach the midweek forecast. But before then, we have a great forecast to enjoy, just a cold forecast at that. 46 degrees there on Saturday afternoon, 38 degrees Sunday afternoon. And then we get extremely cold Monday and Tuesday morning. Tuesday all the way around 17 degrees. That's definitely pipe dripping weather, and we want to make sure that you guys stay prepared. As we've been talking about over this week, our friends at Absolute, they have those faucet covers that you can go ahead and put on those to keep those safe and intact and don't have to worry about busted pipes. I know that the Manor household we actually did the towel method a few weeks back whenever it was extreme cold. So whatever way you can, do whatever you can to keep those pipes intact and of course, keep it secure. I'm trying to see. May see some smoke. Might do something fun here for Mississippi Live Weather at 5. I promise I will not keep you guys forever, but something I want to see is sometimes on radar we can see some of those smoke plumes. I'm curious. This was a report from Blake. He said may see some smoke from Louisville on the radar. The wood chip pile is on fire at the plywood plant. Let me pull it up on radar real quick and move out of our Monroe County radar site. Not seeing anything right now. Let me put it on a loop. Let me see if anything is being seen. Yeah, not being seen right now, and especially with showers moving into the area, the radar is going to pick up on that a little bit more. So we'll keep eyes on it. But yeah, sometimes with those significant smoke plumes, we can actually get a visual on it on radar. And that shows, how high that smoke is getting. So a cool feature, but from what I'm reading, Blake, everything's okay down there. Grady saying we should come to Boonville. Yeah, hey, game of the week. We're in Ecru tonight for North Pontotoc versus Tishomingo County. But heading into next week, we'll have a brand new game of the week, and this one's going to be the boys. And we will have that poll going up early Monday morning, or not the poll, the submissions. And then Tuesday we'll have the poll. And then Wednesday we'll have, of course, that winner. So make sure that you keep with us all week long, and we'll tell you guys where we're headed to next. But tonight, it's all about North Pontotoc, all about Tishomingo County. They actually tip off here in the next 30 minutes. So we'll touch base with Matt and Ethan as we get into that next half hour. But if you have not already done so, best way to, of course, stay tuned and stay updated is with the Mississippi Live Weather app. It is free and available on iOS and Android, so make sure to download that today using the QR codes on the bottom of your screen. Like I mentioned, we will keep our coverage going into the 6 o'clock hour with Matt and Ethan live there in Ecru. That game is tipping off, so we might even get some behind-the-scenes looks at those highlights. Those highlights airing at 10 o'clock tonight. Can't wait to showcase that to you guys, showcase those winners, and actually apologize. Please come back if you were about to turn this off real quick, because what I want to do is actually head over to our monitor, because one of the things that we're talking about is voting. And if you guys have not already voted, this is what we go and vote on heading into game day. It's a big matchup on the court. It's also a big matchup on Facebook. And our chief meteorologist, Matt Laub, on his Facebook page, you can go on there, and we actually have these posts, which this one in particular is talking about your student section of the week. What you do is you click on the picture that you want to vote on. And if it's this one, let me go ahead and drag this over. Let me see if I can. No, actually, this is a good spot. I'm going to keep it right there. You see the votes, 227. Now, this is for North Pontotoc. We move it over. There we go. 419 for Tishomingo County. So, folks in North Pontotoc, Vikings fans, I'm talking to you. Go vote. Because if you want your team to win Student Section of the Week and get featured, you need the votes to win. You need to overcome 419 votes. And not just for our Student Section of the Week. If we scroll down, we have our cheer section of the week as well. And as you can see, these are the Vikings, the North Pontotoc cheerleaders, 161. And if we move to Tishomingo County, 622. So we were talking about rainfall having an uphill battle. North Pontotoc, it's an uphill battle, but it's not impossible. Some folks will see rainfall tonight, and some folks might see a North Pontotoc win. So Vikings fans, show up. Braves fans, you've done a phenomenal job voting. If you want to make sure that lead is held, Tishomingo County, go in there and vote as well. And we will have those results coming up at the end of the 6 o'clock hour. You have 1 hour in order to get those votes submitted. Not impossible, but you definitely need to show up and show out, and you will get that special feature coming up at 10 o'clock tonight. Either way, we're excited to show that off, and we hope that you guys are too. Our next broadcast happening here in the next half hour. Again, we'll touch base with Matt and Ethan on where things stand, maybe even getting a live score update as well. But we appreciate all of the support here on Mississippi Live Weather. We'll see you back here at 6. Oh, I might have clicked off of it. We'll see you back here tonight at 6.
March 24th, 2023 was a normal Friday. We knew the weather was not good, but we needed to take shelter, and we didn't have shelter. My husband and almost 2-year-old daughter, Ethan and Riley, they did lose their lives in the storm. We're still recovering from it. We'll always be recovering from it. Matt Laupon cares about the community. He's not just there to collect a paycheck. I feel like Matt Laupon has proven himself trustworthy.